Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to review my nickel-plated Walther PPK, and I'm choosing to review this handgun first in my channel because I had a few problems getting it broken in and getting it to be reliable, and I just thought I'd share the experience I went through getting it to work. And I did get a few ideas from a few forum members. I was able to Google for the answers I needed. Apparently, the problems I ran into are fairly common with this weapon, and they can be easily resolved. So I'll begin the review. This is my Walther PPK. It is the 380 Auto. It had a very long break-in time for me. It was very tight. It would fail to feed, and it took about 400 rounds for me to get this broken in. And during that 400 rounds, it really liked its oil. It wasn't tight. The slide movement wasn't extremely tight, but it was tight enough to where if I didn't keep a generous amount of oil on it, then it would fail to feed or fail to recycle correctly. I should also mention that this gun has been safety checked and it is unloaded and safe. The main issue I ran into this is that it would fail to feed, and what was making it fail to feed, and I'll show you just to prove it, is that the loaded chamber indicator would get cocked to the side instead of going up and down, and the bullet would get stuck on that. So you can see here that I have it removed. You can see the hole in the back, and I've got a magazine in so I can lock it back. And just to show you, I've got my little Maritac light here, recommended by Cutlery Lover. But if you can kind of see in there, you see that slot? That's where the loaded chamber indicator would get cocked to the side. And it's kind of hard to see it, but I drew a little picture and I'll show it to you real quick. But here's what mine looks like. It looks like that. Instead of being a smooth slot, it looks like two holes were drilled and one of the sides forgot to get filed off. So the pin would get stuck on that. Now I'm sure I can run a piece of sandpaper through there or a tiny file and fix it, but it doesn't bother me to have it removed. It's my carry gun, it's going to be loaded, period. And you're probably asking yourselves, why didn't I send it back to the manufacturer? Well, you know what, it's mine, I can do what I want with it. And you know, I'll eventually fix it myself. It's not a big deal. It's just I've read some of the stories out there on a few of the guys' forums that they had written who experienced the same issue, and they'd send it to Smith & Wesson 2 or 3 times, and it just didn't give me a good feeling to do that, so I just fixed it my own way, and it seems to be working great now. This weapon does shoot great, and I think part of the reason it does that is that the barrel is attached to the frame, which is just awesome. I have no problem hitting the ring at 15-20 yards. It's great. The only downside to this weapon that I've found so far is that the back right here under the beaver tail is a little sharp, and if you go and shoot 200 rounds, you are definitely going to feel it in the webbing of your hand. It's not a comfortable range gun, but it is a great carry gun. I actually traded down to this. Well, I shouldn't say traded down. I actually changed out my carry gun. I still own my old carry gun. I was carrying a Springfield XD, and it works great. Yeah, it's just a little thick. After carrying it around for a couple months, I decided I needed something thinner. And you know, it's personal preference, but I'm just kind of old school and I prefer metal guns, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with polymer. I own both. I have a few steel 1911s, and I have a Springfield XD, I have a Keltec. I just happen to prefer the metal, and it's just personal preference. Just to give you some statistics of this gun, the barrel length is 3.35 inches. Weight empty is 20.8 ounces, and I've actually loaded it up and weighed it, and it weighs about 26 ounces and change loaded, and that's with 1 in the chamber, so I had 7 in the gun total. The trigger is a double action, single action. On double action, the trigger pull is 13.4 pounds, and on single action, it is 6 pounds. And like I said, this is my carry gun. I've tried a few different holsters for it. I found the fulbous paddle holster works well, but I actually wanted to show what I've been carrying in lately. I got this Bianchi leather holster, and it works great. It was a little tight at first, but I actually put a rubber mallet. I have body hammers for working out in the garage on cars and stuff, and they're a little smaller in the handle than a regular hammer, and I just drove that down in there and let it sit overnight. I do have the package for this holster still, and we'll let it focus in here. This is the Bianchi Model 100 size 9, and since it seems to be so robust and fits so many other guns, I just think it was a little tight for this one. And pounding that mallet handle down in there overnight seemed to get the gun in there no problem, and it goes in and comes out no problem. And I'll just show you here real quick. Like I said, that's real tight in there. It's not going to fall out. I'm shaking it, I'm not holding it in there, and then to pull it out, no problem. So I love it. Just thought I'd share it through a review. And if you own it, I hope you enjoy it. And if you buy one, I hope you didn't have any of the problems that I or a few other people seem to have experienced with them. So anyway, thank you for watching, and have a good day.